Hey, Slater Crusaders. I want to talk about the shooting in Florida. You know, a lot of people, after there's a school shooting or something like this, say, we need to do something. And honestly, that's usually said by people who don't actually want to do anything. I mean, they don't want to do something. They want someone else to do something. They passively want something to be done. If you think Congress can fix this, then you're just passing off responsibility. I'll tell you how to fix this and how to stop these school shootings in this video, but you're not going to like the answer. I'll tell you how to stop school shootings, but you won't like it. You'll dismiss it because it's not as simple as wanting Congress to do something. First, we got to talk about why are these shootings happening now more than ever before? It's not guns. There's always been guns. It used to be way easier to get guns. Schools used to have rifle teams. Kids would bring their rifles on the bus to school because there was a competition at the school rifle range in the basement. That's not new. What's new is having kids who want to point a gun at a person and kill them. That is what needs to be addressed. And honestly, even if you think just magically banning all guns is a solution, you're still not getting to the root of why kids would even want to do this. As Henry David Thoreau said, there are thousands hacking at the branches of evil for every one who strikes the root. So let's strike the root right now. 3 things that we need to know about school shootings. First, school shootings are contagious. Second, everyone has a desire to belong to something bigger than themselves. And third, these shooters consider themselves not as individual shooters, but as a part of one single mass shooting called Columbine. Let's break these all down. On the first point, it's easy for us to think of something like the flu as being contagious, but school shootings doesn't make sense. You know, suicides are contagious too. When Robin Williams committed suicide, there was a 10% increase in the number of suicides over the next 4 months. This is why local newspapers don't print articles about people committing suicide anymore, because it's pretty accepted now that if you glorify in any way suicide, more people will commit suicide. It's the same with school shootings. The more coverage we give to these shooters and read their manifestos and play their videos on the news and show their Instagram accounts, the more people we're encouraging to go do this. I know that's hard to fathom, but they want fame. They want to be seen. They want to be noticed. Maybe the first time in their lives, which brings us to the second point. A major cause of these shootings is loneliness and isolation. I was talking to a friend who runs a youth mentoring program, Boys to Men Mentoring. And I asked him what it means, you know, to be at risk, an at-risk kid. I'll never forget, he said, Slater, we're all at risk. The question is, are there people, mentors, parents, friends, neighbors in a kid's life to help them through life's challenges? Are there other voices in this kid's life other than just the one that's in their head? Because if they're living with just the one voice in their head all day, every day, they will spiral and become more isolated and distant. The more these shooters are rejected from society, the more they hate themselves, and then the more they grow to hate everyone else. And they isolate themselves and spiral deeper and deeper. None of these school shooters are the most popular kids in school. We need to look at that. So I'm going to tell you right now how to stop these school shootings. Rob Myers put it best. Notice those people around you who seem isolated and engage them. How do you feel when you hear that? You probably don't like that answer because it involves me doing something. It's way easier to want Congress to do something. Rosalind Wiseman, she said, social isolation is one of the most devastating things you can do to a human being. I don't care how old you are. I don't care who you are. But what causes these isolated kids to spiral to such a depth that they're willing to kill people? So Malcolm Gladwell has the best analysis of this I've ever read. He says, we look at the 25 fatal school shootings since Columbine as separate individual events, but the shooters don't. They consider themselves all a part of the same school shooting. It's all one school shooting. It's all one slow-moving riot that they're a part of. They're a part of the Columbine cult. And Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold are their heroes. And their shooting is an initiation because they want to belong to something. I could give a lot of examples of this, but Darian Aguilar, he's 19 years old in 2014. He dressed up like Eric Harris, used the same weapon as Eric Harris, wore the same backpack, hid in a changing room of a store until 11:14, the exact time of the Columbine shooting, and then came out shooting, killed 2 people, then himself. The shooter at Seattle Pacific University, he shot 3 people, killed 1, told the police he never would have done it without the guidance of Eric Harris and Sung Hui Cho. This is a Virginia Tech shooting. Especially Eric Harris this is his quote, he was, oh man, a master of all shooters. There was a potential school shooter in Minnesota, and he was asked when he was going to attack, and he said April. This is a quote, because that's the month that all the really bad tragedies happen. The Titanic, Columbine, Oklahoma City bombing, Boston bombing. It's become ritualized. It's cultish. And now their names, if they're brave enough to follow through and kill innocent people, and their name will live in infamy like never before and like never imagined before. So, how do we stop school shootings? Short term, every school should train kids and teachers how to confront and take down a school shooter. If every potential school shooter knew that their fellow classmates and teachers would fight back, they wouldn't attack at all because they don't want to fight. They're cowards. Go to actcert.com if you want to know how to properly engage a school shooter. But long term, we need to engage with lonely and isolated people. And not the answer you wanted, right? Because this involves work. It involves rolling up your sleeves and getting involved in someone's life. And it's hard and it's selfless. And we would rather live selfish lives and every once in a while complain about societal problems than actually do anything to fix or prevent them. Suppose there's two types of people. Those who say someone should do something and then pat themselves on the back for being so brave and caring that they think something should be done. And then there are those who are out there actually doing something. And they're too busy saving lives to pat themselves on the back. If you want to prevent school shootings and prevent any other type of destructive behavior in kids, joining gangs, whatever, support Boys to Men mentoring. If you're in San Diego, I'm sure there's similar boys mentoring programs in your city too. Give them money so that they can help more boys get off the wrong path. Give them some light, some relationships, a new voice in their life, and a hope for a future and a future of meaning. And train these boys to become men. So even if there were guns all around them, they would never dream of killing someone.